The report of the Joint Committee on the Waqf Amendment Bill is scheduled to be presented in the Lok Sabha. According to the list of business, Jagdambika Pal, Chairman of the Joint Parliamentary Committee, will present the report along with BJP MP Sanjay Jaiswal. They will also place on record the evidence given before the committee. The bill proposes over 40 changes to the Waqf Act of 1995, including representation for Muslim women and non-Muslims. It aims to reduce Waqf Board's powers to claim properties as Waqf without verification and introduces district collectors to resolve Waqf-related disputes and verify ownership. The bill also proposes a separate board of Waqf for Bohras and the Aghakhani's with broader community representation. Apart from this, it aims to streamline Waqf registration through a central database with notices and seeks to enhance transparency and ensure mandatory inclusion of women in the Waqf board. What do these changes truly mean? We take that conversation forward. I have with me on the broadcast Ashwini Dubey. We also have with us Mr. Athar Zia, Empire panelist. We have with us Rajlakshmi Joshi, political analyst, and we have with us Tahira Hassan, women's rights activist as well. Let me quickly begin, of course, with Tahira Hassan. Tahira Hassan, one of the key aspects of the Waqf Amendment Bill is the inclusion of women within the board. How do you view this particular proposal?
Welcome it because one step towards the gender justice, but it was not prohibited also. They used to not include women. This is fact. This was the fault of the Waqf board only. And I think that this move could be I welcome this move that women are included, but the women should be vocal also, and they should take the step and head on also this rigid type of working where the women are considered second-class citizen, because this Waqf board property is not property of Waqf board, which Waqf board is possessing, nor the government. These people have given by the will for the upliftment of the marginalized class. So this should reach to the beneficiaries. This is the most important thing. I think the accountability must be fixed. Earlier, the survey commissioner was appointed by the government only, and all the members are appointed by government, and the office bearer by the government. And if they are doing something wrong, or there is a corruption or encroachment, then I think that accountability must be fixed on the survey commissioner also, and all these office bearer and members also. Because if they are doing these things and not, they are grabbing this and then they for their benefit, not the marginalized class are not beneficiaries of this. They are not getting what they are supposed to get, and for which this Waqf board has been made and built up for that, for the marginalized class. So I think accountability must be fixed. Now the DM will look after district magistrate. So what is difference? I don't think so there is a much difference now. Because the survey commissioner used to survey the property. After that, this property, list of the property was given to the government and the state government, and then it was listed in the Gazette. So it should be done proper way. If the system has to be put in proper place. You know, the system should be put in proper place. That is most important.
Okay, I want to bring in Ashwini Dubey as well. Ashwini Dubey, what do you make of some of the proposals that have been made? Yes, the major focus is on the fact that one has to do something about the Waqf going and claiming properties. How do you view some of the proposals that have now been put into place with respect to the claiming of properties by the Waqf board, wherein as per the information that has been provided, this is not my information, this is information that has been provided by the government itself says that today the Waqf can actually go and claim any property, and then the onus lies on the owner or the residents of that property to go and prove that the property actually belongs to them and not the Waqf, when it should actually be the other way around. The Waqf should have paperwork or documentation to prove that this property actually belongs to us. But there are people who say that this is a completely misleading claim that is being made by the government, that no such clause exists. The Waqf is not claiming properties that do not belong to it. There's a lot of clearly confusion around what are the powers of the Waqf. Do you feel that the government has been able to, through its initial proposals and through the bill, been able to address some of those?
Little issues which were existing in an act which was enacted, in fact, under Article Entry 10, Entry 28 of List 3, Schedule 7 of the Constitution, which should have been gender neutral, which should have been religion neutral, which should provide the mechanism to go to the court, appellate courts, the courts which exist in the country as per the Constitution, the Union Judiciary, the Supreme Court, no power. The State Judiciary, the High Court, no power. The District Judiciary, the Civil Courts, no powers. So, in fact, the basic object of the legislation which is existing as of now was draconian. Devika, I must say that Jamidari was abolished in this country. But in the form of Jamidari, the Waqf board became a Jamidar of lands. Where from they got the right of Kartabyapat? Where from they got the right of High Court? Where from they got the right of entire Tilak Marg? Where from they got the right of a village which is 1500 years old? Where from they got the right of a village where 100% population is from other religion? Where from they got the right third largest land owner? So I think that it should have been abolished. But yes, little bit happened after 75th year of the Constitution. And now too. If it is made to protect the right of the minorities, then the follower of Jainism, Buddhism, Sikhism, Judaism, Baha'ism, Zoroastrian, Christianity, why it was confined to one? If there was a redressal mechanism, then why only the surveyor? Surveyor has to survey that whether this property belongs to a government institution or individual. If surveyor says, look, this notice is issued that this belongs to the Waqf property at that point of time, it was donated to the Waqf for the purpose of the alleged upliftment of the downtrodden people of that community, and that person who is owner is not aware that what the action has taken, notice might have delivered, may not be necessary to be served, and if he approaches there and board takes a decision, then where the appeal will lie? No appeal. Revision? No revision. Only remedy is to go to the tribunal. Then again in the tribunal, who are the members? Of course, the members from only one community. So can't it be said कि in a country which is a secular, is this the secular law which is existing? Number one. Now my number two is the nomination of non-Muslim members is a welcoming step. Why, Devika? Because many people from, of course, I'm not saying, I'm not restricting to one community. Even the Muslim brothers are also, many Muslim brothers from Rajasthan has approached me, saying कि हमारे गांव में तो पूरी वक्त ने हमारी भी जमीन कब्जा कर ली. So it's not confined that only Hindus or the Jainis or any other people are getting affected by this. Even the followers of that particular religion, they are also subjected to the land grabbing or the property grabbing. So allows for nomination of non-Muslim members is also a welcoming step. Inclusion of women is also a welcoming step. We are moving in a country where general neutrality basically we talk about. So it is a general neutral, in fact, the inclusion law, which requires the Central Waqf Council, which includes a union minister, 3 MPs, 2 former judges, and 4 individuals of national repute. So of course, there will not be any justice to anybody of any community. It removes the Waqf Council's ability to claim land. It's very good welcoming step. It prohibits donations from the Muslims who have been practicing their faith for less than 5 years. Now, Devika, one major question arises here. Supposingly, my father or grandfather might have purchased his property from a Muslim, and tomorrow Waqf board sees that, oh, that Muslim has wasted his property. for the for the welfare of that particular religion, then where from my right is arising? Of course not. Court says, nahi bhai, hamare paas kuch nahi hai. So it's a welcoming step, and I must say that Waqf board, now little bit amendment has come. Let's see how in practicality it is propagated, practiced, and how justiciable it is. But as of now, it's good step, welcoming step, and we hope that we are moving to a country which is really in secular in its fabric, not only in the words. Over to you.
Okay, I want to bring in Athar Zia into the conversation as well. Athar Zia, when we look at some of the powers that were given to the Waqf earlier, for example, power to determine if a property is Waqf. The Act was empowering the Waqf board to inquire and determine if the property is Waqf, but the bill has removed this provision. The bill instead says, let the collectors conduct a survey, and then basis that survey, let's determine basis. One second, Athar Zia. The audio is not clear. Athar Zia, can you hear me?
Hello.
Okay, we'll try to reconnect with Athar Zia in just a moment. Let me go back to Tahira Hassan for a second before I bring in Rajlakshmi Joshi. Tahira Hassan, what could be the possible objections to some of these proposals that have been made? Like I said earlier, it was simply the Waqf board being given the power to conduct a survey and to determine whether a property belongs to the Waqf or not. That provision has been kept in place, simply the person conducting the survey has been changed. The bill now wants to empower a collector to conduct the survey and then come up with a decision. Do you think that there could be some sort of an opposition to this proposal?
No, sorry, the survey commissioner was appointed by the state government. There are 32 Waqf boards, and all Waqf boards, the state used to appoint survey commissioner. He used to survey the property and give the list of the properties to the government, and that was listed in the government gadget. You know, and the tribunal used to have a district level judge or SDM and plus the Islamic scholar also. It is not like that only the people of the one community used to sit there. It is not like that. Because it was the government, it is under the government hold. It was earlier also. You remember 1976, Indira Gandhi, that time our Prime Minister, had written to all Chief Minister of the country that please you see, look into it, that if the Waqf board properties are encroached or by the government offices or by the private people, please give it back to them or give them proper rent, so they will it will generate a proper revenue for them, because they have the largest third largest landowner, and look at the revenue that was mentioned in the Sachar committee also. So I don't think so. What difference? Let me tell Ashwani ji must tell me how it is going to control the corruption. I am saying there is corruption in the Waqf board. I am saying there is a loot in the Waqf board. The beneficiaries are not getting the benefit. So how these things are going to control the things? The survey commissioner appointed by the state government, now the DM will look after. Only thing is this, both are the government officials. So what is different there are going to be happen? Okay. Why accountability is not fixed? Why the CBI inquiry you are not going to order CBI inquiry and find out how much corruption and loot has been done? Because this is not a property of Waqf board. This is a property.
Now the audio has come to me.
By will for the upliftment or the downtrodden.
Okay, all right. Rajlakshmi Joshi, bring into the conversation. Rajlakshmi Joshi, important point there raised by Tahira Hassan as well, that to her it seems as though the bill is not really going into some of the major problems, and she, as per her, it's not addressing the issues in a proper manner. That yes, there was corruption, but how is the bill really now dealing with that point? But at the same time, when we look at some of the claims that have been made by the Waqf, tomb of Ahmad Shah, Safa Masjid of Belgaum, Royal Calcutta Golf Club, portions of some of these properties have just been claimed by the Waqf board. So really, how does the bill actually address this major concern that has come out, that today the Waqf is going and claiming properties all over India unchecked?
Good afternoon, Devika. Yes, this is a very significant, a very important discussion. And let me just tell you that the report that was put up in the parliament, that has been submitted in the parliament, that has happened only after some 38 meetings, 112 hours of discussion, and more than 200 organizations were approached. And what I hear is at least close to 1 lakh of people have actually put in their suggestions via emails, and they have actually done that. So all of that has been heard, all of that has been looked into. So this has not come just out of the blue, out of the it's not something that the BJP has pulled out of their hat. So this has come out of, after a lot of consideration, and obviously you know that this has been a very long-standing controversial subject, because this involved a lot of mismanagement, corruption, and also encroachment. Now let me just tell you that it has not helped that a lot of Muslim leaders and a lot of Muslim supporting leaders, also political leaders, they have actually made a lot of very controversial statements. Now let me just remind you that one of the JPC members, the committee members, that is Kalyan Banerjee, do you know what he has said? He has said in one of his meetings that wherever the namaz is being read, that can be considered as a land belonging to Waqf board. So that is a very it is a very ambiguous statement. So you cannot just make statements like that, and it doesn't help when this CM Arvind Kejriwal, he goes around telling people that main aapka beta hu, and do you know that the Ambani building, that their residence stands over the Waqf board land and the Kartavya Path, like Ashwini ji said. So there are a whole lot of buildings. He said main aapko wapas dilaunga. So when politicians make these kind of statements, and just for the sake of appeasement, for the sake of getting votes, obviously there is a lot of fear in the minds of the rest of the majority. So I think that what this amendment seeks to do is, they want to get rid of all the loopholes. So Tahira ji must be thinking that yes, earlier women were not prohibited, but they were not being included in the committee as well. They were never a part of the board. So right now what is happening is, there have been some things that are being enforced, like there has to be a woman, there have to be two non-Muslim who will obviously look into interest of the people whose land could be encroached as well. So all these controversies can be put to rest, and then there will be digitalization of all the records. There will be obviously people cannot claim the land without showing any records. So I think that is a very simplification of all the controversies that have been going on all these years. So even the mismanagement of the funds also will come under purview, because then there will be these people of repute, there will be the former judges of the Supreme Court, there will be a lot of people on the board who will make sure, there will be MPs. So all of them will make sure that this kind of a misappropriation of funds and encroachment will not happen. So if nothing is wrong with the management of the board, I don't see any reason why anyone should have any problem with any of this. Because then Tahira ji was saying that this is supposed to be for the welfare of women, for the welfare of children, but that has been enforced now. The board has recommendation very clearly states that the welfare of the women and children are to be the foremost objective of the Waqf board. So that is being written there as a rule. So all these years, that was not really happening, Devika, even though that should have been the purpose. And that is why I think that all these loopholes are being taken away. And I think it will only give a lot of clarity, and hopefully all the controversies should put to rest.
Okay, all right. Athar Zia, I leave the last word with you. Athar Zia, important suggestions there made in the bill currently. What is your reading of it? As far as the amendment bill is concerned, what is your reading of it? Some of the provisions that the government wants to take away, and essentially, as Raj Lakshmi Joshi was also pointing out, the focus has been to remove some of the loopholes in the past that were allowing some Waqf board or certain members to indulge in practices that have now been highlighted as corrupt?
Listen, I don't know so many backgrounds of absolutely good when the previous speaker was speaking, but now it's very low anyway. Let me put my point of view that look, as far as claiming any property, I can make a claim to your property that your house is mine, but will I get it? I will not get it unless and until I have the documents, I have the solid legal proof. So claiming anything does not matter. What matters is that, Sikh Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee and various trusts, Kashi Vishwanath Trust, various South Indian Mandir Trusts, Christian Trusts, all of them are empowered to manage their own affairs as per the constitution and as per their way. So what the Waqf board is some much more with information that they have the third largest land bank or they are claiming. It is not like that. There are certain properties which are disputed and which the current legal system can take care of that, and nothing is being done which is illegal. Only thing is that Waqf management has to be streamlined, it has to be made accountable, transparent, and it has to be ensured that the purpose of Waqf assets for which it has been created by our ancestor is being achieved. It is not being used or exploited for personal gains, which is happening now. For that purpose, any bill, any regulation is most welcome. But right now what is being said, like JPC, Sikh Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee, their total budget is much more than any state budget, but they are allowed to run their own affair without any interference of the government. Same is like Kashi Vishwanath Management Trust.
Yes.
There is simple that all the board members has to be Hindu, even the ex-officio member like commissioner or the DM, if they are of certain other communities, then they can't be the member, and the second in line will be the member in the board. So,
Yes. Okay, I seem to be losing that line with Athar
Yeah.
Zia. Athar Zia, unfortunately, I'm having a lot of trouble with your audio. My apologies for that. But on that note, we've also completely run out of time. I thank all of our panelists for joining us. Remember, the Waqf Amendment Bill is likely to be tabled in the Parliament in the coming days. With that, viewers, we step into a very quick break.